In this tutorial, we'll create an authentication system using Svelte and Sapper. So this is the app. It shows you are not logged in. We can go to the login where we log in our users, and we can register our users here. So let's register one user. So I'll create this user. The password is test, and when we submit, we will submit and redirect to our login, and here we can log in with the user that we just created. So I'll log in with the user that I just created, click sign in, and this is the home page where the message is different now. Hi test. Test is the name of our user. Login and register now are replaced with a logout button where we click, and it shows we are going to the sign in page, and it shows you are not logged in. So this is the app that we will build. Also, something to mention is that we will use HttpOnly cookies. So if we sign in here, click sign in, we'll get a cookie, and which is HTTP only. And if we remove this cookie, it shows you are not logged in. So if you want to know how to build this app, follow this tutorial. Before we start building the app, I would like to remind you that this video can be combined with other videos. So if you want to use Svelte with Laravel, Django, Node.js, Go, Nest.js, Deno, C# or Kotlin, I provided some links in the description of this video. In case you don't want to build a backend, don't worry, I have a solution for you. Also, make sure to check scalablescripts.com. Now let's start building the app. Now I will show you how to build a backend without actually building it. So, if you already built the backend, you can skip this part. If you don't want to build it, then first, before I explain this repository, download Docker. So go to docker.com products Docker desktop and download the right version for your machine. I already did it, and I have here an icon on top. So in order to build a backend, you have to install Docker. Now this repository is just a simple docker compose.yaml file. You can copy this file, you can download the code, you can do anything. In my case, I will just copy the code and I will do a git clone. So I will open my terminal and I will write git clone this repository. So now that is downloaded, let's go to the folder auth API is called, and you have Docker installed. Run docker compose app. And now Docker will pull all the images and download all the files, and it will build the backend for you. Now let's wait till it's completed. Now it's completed. So we are almost finished. Now I will type Control C, Command C to close the containers. And we need one last command. So first, I will do a docker compose app, but -d, so we don't want to see the logs here. So with this command, now we don't see anything. So we can clear it. It doesn't show anything. And let's run this last command. This will build the database. So everything is built. Now we can access localhost port 8000, and this is our backend running on port 8000. Now we will consume this API by building our app. Now let's create the project. Go to sapper.svelte.dev and here copy this line. I'll open now my terminal and I'll create the project named Svelte Auth. Now the repo is cloned. Open the project with our IDE and here we will run npm install. So this will install all the dependencies and run npm run dev, and this will run the project on localhost port 3000, and this is our Sapper app. Now let's make some changes in our project. So go to the source folder. We have the nav component here, so we will keep it as it is. So I will remove everything here, but we need the nav component. Now go to the routes and remove the block folder, the error, and the about files. And I will keep the layout file. I will remove the styles here. And everything else looks okay here. Now go to the index file, and here I will remove also everything, and I will just display a message. And let's refresh the project. This should show just hello. Now let's add Bootstrap to this project. Go to getbootstrap.com, click get started, and copy the link here, and we will add it to the template. I will add it here, and let's add also the template. Go to examples, and I will copy the sign-in form here. View the page source, and I will copy the form here, the main HTML. I will paste it in the index, and this will look like this. Still we need to add the CSS, so go to sign in CSS, and let's copy all the styles except HTML and body styles. I copied them, and I will paste them to static global CSS because I want to override this CSS here. I change this, and this will look different, so it's not looking better. What I will do right now is that in the layout we have a main here, and we have also a main here. So I'll cut this part, I'll paste it here, and I will remove the main here. So I'll keep only the form. And let's see what it looks like. So now it looks better. So we added the template, so let's make some changes here. Let's remove the image and the labels and the paragraph, and it will look like this. So we added the template, and now let's add the pages that we will use. So this is the home page. Let's create two more Svelte components. One is login, and in the login it will be this form. So I'll cut it and I'll paste it here. In the index I will say hello, and we will create another route, which is register. For the moment I will just write register here, and as we can see, hello, we are in the main route. If we want to go to the login, go to /login. Here is the login. And if we want to go to the register, we go to /register. So every file represents a different page. Now what is missing is adding a navigation, so we can navigate to the other pages without writing the URL. So go again to get Bootstrap examples, and click here navbar static. View the page source, and let's copy this nav, and I will paste it to the component nav.svelte. Here I'll paste this component. This will look like this. Now let's add the pages here. So first, this is home here. I will remove the button here. I will remove the form. I will remove everything here. So this is a link. with the name here will be login, and I will add another one for the register. So we should remove also this div here, and now it looks better. So now let's make these links work. So it's really simple. In Sapper we have to add just href here to slash login, href to slash register, to slash here. So with Sapper is really simple to navigate, and if we are using just Svelte it will be a little bit more complicated. So the navigation works fine. Now let's focus on the register page. I'll copy the form from the login and I'll paste it here. I will change the title here to please register, and this to submit. And we need also another field, which is the name. So this is a type text. I'll remove the IDs here, we don't need it, and the autofocus here. And this is the name. And the form now will look like this. Now let's submit this form. First we need to bind variables. So here on the header we will add a script tag, and to bind variables to these inputs, first we have to create them. So let's create let name, email, and password, and I will initialize them as an empty string. So let's initialize all of them, and we have these variables, and now we need to bind them to these inputs. To bind them we have to use bind value name. So like this, every time we'll change the input, it will change also this variable. So this is email, and the last bind is the password. Now we binded everything. Every time we change the inputs we'll get the values, and what is left is submitting the form and sending the response to the server. So what I will do right now is I will create a function submit, and when we submit I want to call this function, and to do it we have to call here on submit. We will call this submit function like this. Before I change the submit function, I will add here prevent default like this. So this sign and prevent default, because when we submit it will refresh the page, and if we add the prevent default it will not refresh the page. So let me show it to you. I'll just console log here the name, email, and password. So we are here. I'll inspect. I'll put some random values, submit, and it console logs something, but the page refreshed. And if we add here prevent default, when we submit it will console log the values, but it will not refresh the page. So this is what we need. Now on this submit function we want to send a request to the server. So let's do that. Let's make this an asynchronous function, and here I will call await fetch HTTP localhost port 8000/API/register. Still we need some options, and we need to set the method to post. This is a post request. We need the headers, which is a content type, application JSON, and we need the body. So in the body we have to add it like this: JSON stringify, and we'll add an object where we'll send the name, email, and the password, like this. So we can do it like name is equal to this name, but since they are the same value, I will send it like this. And after we finish, we need to go back to the login page when we register. So there is a function that we can use, which is go to. So we want to go to login. I will also import this function. So import go to from Sapper app.mjs. This is also synchronous, so we need to put a wait here. And that's it. So let's try now to register our user. I will create a user now. And when I submit, I get redirected to the login page, which means that this user was successfully registered, and the register form works successfully. Now let's do the same for the login. So I'll copy the script and I will add it here on top. So it will be almost the same, except we don't have a name right now. We need to bind the value of the email. I will remove this, and we need to bind the value of the password. And here we need to remove the name. So when we submit, on submit, we will call the submit function, and also we need to prevent default. So this is our login function, but we are not finished yet, because we have to add here another option, which is credentials include. Why do we need this option? Because when we send this data to the server will send us a cookie. If we want to use the cookie, then these credentials include it is required, otherwise we won't get it. Also, we need to change the endpoint here to login, and when we log in, we will redirect to the main page. So let's try this form now. I'll inspect, I'll go to application, cookies here, and we don't have any cookie. Now if we send the user that we just created, click sign in, we will redirect to the main page, and as you can see, we get a JWT cookie right now, which is HTTP only. So we cannot access this cookie. This cookie is only meant to be sent to the server to get the authenticated user. So we added a login. Now in the index, we want to get the authenticated user. So I will add the scripts tag, and I will create a variable message. I will initialize it as an empty, and I will replace the hello with the message. Now we need to call the backend to get our authenticated user. So before calling it the backend, we need to wait till this page is rendered. So we need to import a function. So I will import on mount from Svelte. So we have to wait till all HTML has been rendered, then we have to call the backend, and we'll call this onMount, and this accepts a function. Inside this function we'll call the user, so I'll make this an asynchronous function, and we'll call here, I'll get the response, which is equal to await fetch HTTP localhost port 8000/API/user. We need to send two options, so I'll copy them from the login, and only two is the headers and the credentials. So I'll go back here. We need the headers, and the credentials include, we need this because we have that cookie now, and we want to send to the backend to get the authenticated user. And we got the response right now, and let's get the content. So const content is equal to await response JSON. So we got the content, and for the moment let's console log the content. Let's inspect, and as we can see we get a value here, which is our authenticated user. So this content right now is the authenticated user. Now that we got the user, we need to send the message. So message is equal to hi, or I'll do it like this, hi content.name. So this will be the message, and as you can see, hi A. A is our authenticated user. Now, instead of login and register here, we want to show a logout because we are currently logged in. So how do we send an event right now from here to the nav component, because we want to show the logout button here? So what I will do right now is I'll create a new directory, stores, and I will create inside a JavaScript file. I will call it auth. Here I will import writable from Svelte store, and I will export a constant auth, which is, or I'll call it authenticated, which is equal to writable false. So now we can use this variable, and we will send the value, we will set the value to either true or false, and we'll listen to the changes in our nav.svelte. So let's do it. Let's go to the index.svelte. First let's import the file. So we need to import authenticated from stores auth. Let's add the curly braces. So we imported this variable, and we'll set here that authenticated set to true. We'll set the variable to true if we go here. How about the false case? So let's wrap this with a try catch. So if this request fails, we'll go to the catch part, and we'll set the message to you are not logged in, and authenticated will be false. So we will handle both of the cases here, and in the nav.svelte we will listen to events. So let's listen to events here, add the script tag, and here let's import authenticated And to listen to events, we have to call authenticated, subscribe, and here we'll get the authenticated variable. So I'll not call it the same, so I'll call it just auth, and I will create a variable here, let auth is equal to false by default. And once we subscribe here, we'll set the variable, so auth is equal, so this should be also another variable, so I'll just name this to A, doesn't matter. So we'll get the authenticated value here, and we'll set it to this value. Now let's use this value. So we have to change this UL based on this auth value. So I'll wrap this with an if condition, and to do it in Svelte we have to add here, this is if auth. So if it is authenticated, then we'll show this, else we will show another thing, and in the end we'll close the if condition. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. So if we are authenticated, we don't show the login and the logout and the register, sorry. So this will be the logout button, and I'll change the href here to just this, and else will display the login and the register. So this is how it should look like. So now we are logged in and we display the logout button here. So let's make the logout button work. So let's create a function here, logout, and when we click this button we will log out. So I will add here on click, we'll call logout like this. And to log out we have to send a request to the server, so we have to make this function asynchronous. And now let's send a request, await fetch to HTTP localhost port 8000 / API / logout, and we will send the same data. So I will copy the data from the user here, paste them here, and we need to add also the method which is a post request. And that's it. This is our logout request, and after we finish, let's import goto also. So we have to redirect to login, and let's add await here. So this is our logout function. Let's test it now. Click logout, and this should remove also this cookie. Logout and the cookie is removed. Now if we go to the home, it shows you are not logged in, and we see login and register. So we have to log in again to show a logout button here, and hi A, which is our user. So this was the authentication using Svelte and Sapper. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please share and subscribe. Thank you.